So if you open up Visual Studio again and you end up with this start page menu here, I'm going to create a new project. Click New Project, and I'm going to name it. Okay, so it's going to be a over on the left here. You want to go to Visual C Sharp, Windows, Web. Click on Web and see what your choices are here. And this is what we want. We want a ASP.NET web application. And we want to create a directory for the solution. And I'm going to name this application Chapter 02 for Chapter 2. That's what they would like you to call it, I guess. Future value. I'm going to put 300 because it was a 3 o'clock class. And here we're going to select what kind of template we want to start out with. And in this class, we're just going to be doing empty or empty plus web forms. Way later on, we might get into web API or some of these other things. But for now, it's just this. We don't need to host anything in the cloud. Click OK. And here we are starting out with nothing. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a, is that what we do? We create a new page? Yes. Yes, we create a new page. Let's create a new page. Click over here on the project, do a right click, and you can just do add web form. And I'm going to name it default. And so now over here I've got a default page, and it comes up like this, looks like this. It says where the code behind file is and everything. We can click on design. Oh, we see it's just a form with a div inside. And so when we look over here on design, we see it's just a div section here. So that's what a blank that's what our blank page is going to start out looking like. We've added a new project to an existing web form, and we see this is what it looks like. Just like this. That's where we are. This here describes, let's see, the size of window. You can place the mouse over one of its boundaries and drag it and so on. Line numbers, you can add. Well, that's nice. You can add line numbers. Okay, let me go back here. Can you size this thing? Oh, that's a nice. I didn't even realize you could do that. Makes things easy. And notice here that, okay, so that's that. You look at the source. This is how it got bigger. And we can split, and that way we can see the code up here and the actual design screen down below. Okay. So now add a folder to the web application. Okay, let's do that. So we have this web application here, and we're going to actually, the reason we're going to add a folder is because we're going to add an image. And we don't want to just have the image file hanging around here. We want to create a nice folder and put images all in our folder, you know, like how we do on websites. So let's click on the project again, do right click, and do add folder. And I'm going to name it images. And then, here it is. Now I'm going to add an image that I'm going to put on my screen, and it's going to be that Murach. It's going to be this Murach thing. Where is it? Oh, that's how you start it. Well, let me just do it. I'm going to, okay, so I want that Murach image, and it's in, I have that image in another folder someplace else, and I got lots of those Murach images. I'm just going to find one on here. So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to do add existing item. And I'm going to find my another Murach image. This is, let's go to my documents. I'm going to go to my folder. I just, the student download, which is in here. Murach student download. You should see these. And click on exercises and click on number 1 here. And this is the old one, so I'm going to go in here and find images. And here's the Murach logo. Add. Okay, so now I got the Murach logo right there. And I'm going to put that right up here. So to do that, I'm going to do, go over here and find, is there image? Oh, here's image. Put the image over here. There's the image. And let me see what properties we got here. Image URL. Click here. And I'm going to go into my images. And there's my logo. And there it is. Nice Murach Books logo. Okay, where are we in the book here? Oh, this is just telling us how we can start or where the solution file is and so on. Okay, so let me just, I guess I can show you that. All right, so if we execute this, if I just run it, it looks like that. No, it looks like this. I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this. And the point is, if I close this, let me save it. And let me close this particular solution. Now I can actually go to my projects, Visual Studio projects, and find my projects and find my web. No, where's my fuel? Oh, here, Chapter 2, Future Value 300. That's the one I just was working on. And this, I can just double click that to start it up. So that's one way to start it up. You know, you can start it up other ways. If you're on you can probably start it up. Recent file, recent projects. It's this one. You can start it up that way. And so anyway, that's just what they wanted to show you. So I'm going to just double click on that, start it back up again. Here we are. We started a third instance down here. That's okay. And we're back. All right, so that's how you open a project. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of the things on this screen here. I'm going to put I'm going to put this 401 future value calculator. I'm going to put, I'll show you this from over here. I'm going to put this on. I'm going to put a table. I'm going to put some labels here. I'm going to put a drop-down list. I'm going to put a couple of text boxes and another label here. And I'm going to put calculate button and a clear button. And I'm going to put these validation controls right there like that. And okay, so let's do that. So here I am in the one I'm working on. And let's see, put a, I think I can, I'm just going to go over to source. I can't seem to find H1 over here anywhere. So I'm just going to go over to source. And right underneath the image here, there's that image. I'm going to just do H1 close, and right here I'm going to type 401k future value calculator. Okay, and let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah, that's nice. Okay, and next I'm going to put a table. Go back here. For a table, I can just let me just try to do table, insert table, and I'm going to want a table that is 6 rows, 2 columns. I can just leave. I'll just leave it. Leave this stuff. But you can change the percent. So if it's 100%, it means it's going to go all the way across. And you can adjust the widths of the columns, but the last column is going to go all the way across to the end there. That's okay. This is good. Okay, so now we have a table there. I'm going to see what this looks like. Okay, this is a bummer because the table ended up being inserted in between the H1 tags. See, this is the end of the H1 tag, beginning of the H1 tag. I got to figure out how to keep that from happening. But let's just take this H1 tag here and cut it out and put it here. And then let's press enter. And now we will have our table below our H1 tag. And that's important because we didn't want all of the table values here to be H1 size, if that could have happened. All right, so let's just fill in this here. We have monthly investment, interest rate, number of years, and future value. So there's going to be, let me just throw some labels in here. This is monthly investment. And this is one here. Oops. Another one here. And another one here. And we want a button, a drop-down list over here. And we want a text box here. And a text box here. And another label here. And we want a button here and another button here. Okay, and we also want some we can adjust the size of the table, the width, the first column of the table by going like this. And I guess we can maybe adjust this by going, I guess that works too. And down here we want to put some validators. So we want to put a validation. We want to put a required field validator for the interest rate. I better put these labels here. Interest rate, number of years, future value. Oops. Interest rate and number of years. Number of years and this one is future value. And I'm going to call this thing LBL future value, and that's just where it's going to go. And I'm going to name it LBL future value. And I'm going to name this thing DDL monthly investment. And I'm going to name this thing EXT interest rate. And I'm going to name this one TXT years. And I'm going to name this one BTN calculate. And I'm going to name this one clear. And I actually, while I'm here, I'm going to say this one does not cause validation. Basically, what that setting is that if the default is true, and these are controls, if they're ever clicked or changed, it'll cause the validation code to execute. So in other words, so we can have it run like most of the time or all the time. So whenever it detects that there's not something correct here, it'll just display that thing down at the bottom. It's not a pop-up or anything, so it's not that obtrusive. But also there's times when we don't want the validation to be checked, and that's namely this clear button, because when we clear it, there's going to be empty fields, and it's going to cause the validation not to be correct. So this is clear, and let's call this one calculate. Let's have this say calculate. And okay, so let me finish up this required range validator. What else can we do? Can we make it red? Let's make it red. Red. It's a nice red right there. And so this is the required field validator, and this is going to be interest rate required. Message. Interest rate required. And we're going to validate, this is a required field, and it's going to be looking at control to validate. We want it to look at interest rate. Okay, that's all we need to do for that. Let's put another one in here for interest rate required. Now I tell you what, I'm gonna put it back over here again. Space. Hope that works. And I'm gonna put another. I'm gonna put a range validator. Does that work? Oh yeah. And for this range validator, I want to say interest rate must be. Interest rate must be between 1 and 20. The error message is going to be interest rate must be between 1 and 20, and that's going to be looking at the interest rate. And let's make it red. Let's make it a darker red, just to be different. Okay, interest rate required. Interest rate must be between 1 and 20. And then let's add another validator on there, and that would be number of years is required. And that will be a field validator. And it's going to be in a number of years is required. And let's make that one red also. And you can also have it be out of range, so it's going to be a range validator. And this is going to be this is going to say years must be from 1 to 45. Oops. Oops. Here we go. Years must be between 1 and 45. And let's make it red. Let's make it this color red, just to be weird. Okay, so now we have, or did I say what to look at? Control to validate. Years. Did I do this one too? Control to validate. No, I did not. Years. And this one is interest rate, and this one is interest rate. Okay, so I got all my validators in there, and okay, I'm going to see what this looks like. So if I click on Firefox, we end up with this. And what that is, it says unobtrusive validation mode requires jQuery. God, I can't believe they make this the default. So let's close this, and there's a couple of ways we can take care of that little error message. Let's look and see what it is. Tables, controls, drop-down list. Validators. Here we go. No, not this. Unobtrusive validation mode. You look over here, it says 4.5 and later have a feature called unobtrusive validation to be aware of, and basically it's this is all client-side validation. It's all client-side validation. It's JavaScript. It checks it before it goes back to the server. It's just that before 4.5, it uses just HTML, or uses JavaScript that it would put in there, but after 4.5, it allows you to use jQuery, and so you got to actually install the jQuery package. I won't do that now, but we're going to do that. Maybe I'll do it on Tuesday. But anyway, we haven't installed jQuery. I could install jQuery, and maybe I'll install jQuery next time. But this time I'm going to show you how to do it when you don't install jQuery. And you do that by either this way or this way. Okay. The second way here is just to put app settings. Can I copy? It doesn't let me copy, does it? Okay, or we can do it this way, unobtrusive validation. Okay, so this will turn it off for the whole web application, and this will just turn it off a page at a time. So if we do it a page at a time, we would do it like this. Double click out here someplace, and you just do unobtrusive validation mode equals unobtrusive validation mode dot none. Okay, that'll do it. And now it seems to let us work it. I'm going to try clicking this. What happens? See, the validation does in fact work. Interest rate required, number of years required. What happens if you put in a 2? Interest rate must be between 1 and 20. What? Oh, I forgot to put the ranges. You have to specify 1 and 20. And for this one, you have to specify 1 and 45. So let's do that. I'm going to close this, shut this off. Forget about those. So click on the range one, and you go over here, and you go maximum value is 20, and minimum value is 1. It takes care of that one. And then for this one, maximum value is 45, and minimum is 1. Okay, that'll work. Let's go back and see what else they have us do. Oh, if we were to do this one, we go into the web config and do this app settings. You'd go here, you'd go into a Solution Explorer, and you go into here, and you can, it's in here. You can put it in here. And what you would put in here is, if you can go peek over here, and you can see what's over here, because they do it that way, this way, in this one. This thing here, app settings, where you set unobtrusive validation mode to none. And that'll do it for all the entire project. So, but anyway, so I did it the other way. Okay, so now we're going to add some, this here, this just gets added in. What does it say about it? This is for the table. If you look here, it's this table here. Anyway, when you go to the source, I'm talking about this right here. And these actual values here are the result of my dragging. See, this is one whatever. If I go back to here and I make it something different. That's kind of weird. But anyway, that's what this is. That messes with these numbers here. Yeah, it's just pointing out all the ASP codes. So these are auto styles. This is the style. Auto style 1, that's this, that's CSS. We're going to get much more into CSS chapter 3, I think. Should learn all that. This is what expands out into the select options right here. This is the text box. This is another text box. This is the label where we're going to write the future value after it's calculated. These are blank rows in the table, and then we got the calculate buttons here. And then these, here's the ASP. This translates into JavaScript for the range validators. And so all buttons convert to submit buttons. You know, I don't. I suppose there's other button types, but by default they're submit buttons. So everything's a submit button. And here's where we can actually start throwing in some code here now. So here, and I didn't think I was going to get this far today, but let's throw some code in. Monthly investment equals, what are we making it? Oh, we'll just go down here to the code. Oh, here is where we load the, this loads up the dropdown. So let's load the dropdown. I don't think I can remember this. Let me see how I can figure this out. How I can remember it. Put this here, take this here, put this here, get rid of. I want this one up, and I want this one up. I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to want this. And it's going to go right in. It's the code behind. Here we go. Right here. I'm going to put if it is not postback, it is not postback, then for int I equals 50, I is less than or equal to 500, I plus 50, 50 at a time, DDL monthly investment dot items dot add, and we're going to add I, but as a string, to string. And so we can just run this. And now we get this. Look at that. It's all nice and populated. Nice. All right. Let's see what else we can throw in here. Button calculate. Let's throw in button calculate. Is there something that's button 2-click? No, that's not on button 2-click. Oh, I never named these buttons, did I? I thought I named them. Let me go here and go here. This one, calculate. Now, can I just, I don't know, do I double click on this? No, that's not how I do it. Oh, I do. Whoa, here I am. All right. So let's do this. If is valid, uh-oh. Why isn't it giving me, did I not create that or something? Oh. Is valid. Let me just find where I am. Then do this. Integer monthly investment. I'm creating a new variable here. It equals convert to int 32. DDL monthly investment selected value. And then decimal yearly, creating a new variable here, interest rate equals convert to int 32 txt interest rate dot txt int years equals convert to int 32 txt years dot text decimal future value LUE equals this dot calculate future. Oh, I didn't name the button, did I? Calculate, it's this button. Oops. What's going on? It's just plain old calculate. I have to create this function. There's the function. Okay, got to create that function too. This monthly investment. Oh, this is calculate. Wait a second. What am I doing here? This is what I'm doing. Future value equals. I have to create this function. Don't say button calculate. Calculate future value. And there's going to be some parameters, I guess. And those parameters are going to be monthly investment, comma, yearly interest rate, comma, years. And then last thing I want to do is I want to write into that label future value dot text equals future value dot toString currency. Okay, that's that. But I got to define this function here, this little function here. And so why don't I do that? I'll type that in. I'm going to do that right after the button calculate. And so right here, I'm going to do protected decimal calculate future value int monthly investment, comma, decimal yearly interest rate, comma, int years. And this is going to be this particular function here. Define a variable months equals years times 12, and say decimal monthly interest rate equals yearly interest rate divided by 12 divided by 100 to get a decimal. Decimal future value equals 0, and then for int I equals 0, 0, I is less than months, and I plus plus future value equals future value plus monthly investment times 1 plus monthly interest rate. Then return, I'll end this, I'll end it. Return future value. Okay, so that's calculating future value, and I want to throw in this button clear while I'm at it. So can I do that? Let's see, go here. What happens if I double click here? Here we go. It's this. Guess I must not have named it. DDL monthly investment dot selected value selected index equals 0, and we'll set text interest rate text equals nothing, and text years dot txt equals nothing, and LBL future value equals nothing. Okay, now everything equals nothing. Why does it look like that? Should I make it double? Do this. I like that better. It likes it better. All right. So, got anything else here? Don't see much else there. Okay, let's check this out. Build errors. Click no. What do we got here? Ooh, some missing stuffs. Line 33. Line 33, first of all. All right. And 25, is something wrong with 25? Oh, text. There we go. Now let's try it. Line 33, line 33, line 42. All right. Line 33. And there was something here. Oh, what should this be? What was that? Did I miss something? Where was yearly interest rate calculated? Oh, it should have come in as a, right here, yearly interest rate. There we go. And let's see, let's try an interest rate of 3 and a number of years of still is not. What did I do wrong? It is this one, and the properties are text and range validator on interest rate. The maximum value is 20 and the minimum value is 1. What am I doing wrong? Maybe this should not be a string, maybe it should be an integer. And this one the same, maybe. Oops, I mean this one, integer. Let's see. Three. Looking good. 5 years. And is that right? I don't know. Let's check with this one. I'm going to say, chapter 1. Okay, 5310, 7, okay, 5310 is 7,004. 5310 is 7,004. Yes, clear? That's right. Now what else I do this? Oh yeah, interest rate required, -1. Oh yeah, -1. Yep. 1. Yep. 2. Okay, and it is 4:13. Are there any questions? Thank you for watching.